Does size matter? I guess that depends who you ask. Today we're putting that to the test by replacing this dinky little Honda Backrest with, oh, this big old Burly Brand Sissy bar.
Perfect.
Welcome back to Life of Birch. This is Birch, and today we're installing the Burly Brand Sissy bar on my Rebel 1100, and then we're gonna go pick up my girlfriend Nina and have her test it out to put it to the true test and tell us, does size matter? Is the tall Burly Brand Sissy bar that much better than the little teeny tiny Honda one? You versus the guy she tells you not to worry about, am I right? Anyway, enough of the terrible jokes. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe if this is your first time here, because obviously you're interested in Rebel 1100 content, and I have tons of it and tons more to come, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Without further ado, let's pop the box open and see what we're working with. And there she is, looking so good. Right off the bat, you can tell it's a lot taller than the Honda one. I'm not sure by exactly how much, but we'll measure it so we have a good idea. We'll set that aside. It doesn't stand upright, so we'll lean it right against that. And then what else do we have? We have the backrest pad right here. We'll check that out in just a second. And last but not least, we have the installation hardware and instructions. You obviously won't need the instructions because you're watching this video. All right, let's set that aside and we'll check out the Sissy bar. All right, so this thing is super high quality. I guess I should point out also that it did come packed really well to avoid any kind of damage in shipping, but I set that aside because I was too excited. I had to check it out already. But the quality on this thing is super top notch. Lots of you guys probably remember me complaining about the welds on the Honda one, and it is the exact opposite with this one. The welds are so smooth and buttery, super nice. Hopefully you can tell. And you know what? Let's roll the footage of the terrible welds on the Honda one. After I installed it and I'm looking at it, you can really see how crappy these welds are, especially on that side. It's like all built up and gummy looking. On this side, it's not quite as bad, but it's obviously still not great by any means. But you can really see like that one doesn't have as much buildup, and then this one is like all the way over to the edge here, and there's even like a little like spur of like welding material hanging off there. So some people said that they got one that didn't have welds that bad. I guess I just got the bad luck of the draw, but you can see everything on this is just so smooth. Looking really good. One of the main things that I did notice is that this one is gloss black, whereas the Honda one is flat black. So I guess that's just a matter of preference. I think I like the gloss black because the entire frame of the Rebel is gloss black. The flat black on the Honda one worked. Oh, box is in the way, let me move that. The flat black on the Honda one kind of worked just because the fender piece you can kind of see is flat black. I'll get these out of the way in a second. So it kind of worked that it was flat black, whereas like the fender piece was flat black, but I think it's gonna look a lot better having gloss black that matches the entire frame. And I also really like how minimalist the design is. You can see that it's just like one bar that goes all the way around, and then these little like connecting bars down at the bottom. I feel like some Sissy bars overdo it and they have a whole bunch of like pieces going across here and crazy designs. That's not really for me. I like how simple this one is. And then it's also, like I said, it's just like one bar down here, whereas on the stock one, it's like flat. Here, let me move this to show you. Yeah, so it's like not even a bar. It's like flat and kind of just like sits flush with the fender. It looks cool, I guess, but you can see where like the round bar ends right there and then switches to that like flat other piece. And with this one, it's just like, I don't know, I feel like the bar looks cooler. All right, so looking at this, like I said, the welds are really good. The finish is really good too. I like the kind of like swoop back at the top of it right there. Is it gonna focus? No. But you can see how it like bends back right there at the top. That's pretty sleek. Overall, I am super impressed with the quality of this, especially compared to the quality of the one that came from Honda. All right, so let's set that aside. Oh yeah, and I guess I should note also that even though it does have a backrest pad, I feel like the way that it's designed, it could look really good even without the backrest pad. So if you don't have a passenger on a whole bunch and you don't like the look of the pad, you could easily get away with just having like no pad on there and it would still look really good. All right, now speaking of the pad, let's check that out right here. Be gone with you. So here's the pad, looking super badass. Has the Burly Brand logo in the middle right there. It's embossed on there. I think that's the right word. Looks really good. Now compared to the stock backrest pad, you can see it's about the same size. You don't really gain any surface area, but you don't really lose any surface area. And this backrest pad just has these two screws right here on the back that screw into these holes right there to attach it. So super easy on and off. And then over here, you got the hardware to put it on. Just 4 bolts, nice and easy. Doesn't have any of the spacers or washers like the stock one does. So you don't have to worry about having the spacer connectors fall out or anything during installation. You just have 4 bolts, nice and easy. Now, I'll say it before anybody does in the comments, they are the stainless steel bolts as opposed to black bolts. Would it look better with black bolts? Maybe, but at the end of the day, all the black bolts that Honda uses, we've already determined are super soft and strip out easily. So if you can go with something tried and true like the stainless steel, it's gonna be nice and strong, then obviously they're gonna do that. All right, so super straightforward. Let's go ahead and get this thing thrown on now. Like I said, it's literally only 4 bolts. So if I move this out of the way, you'll see you got 2 bolts on each side of the fender. You're gonna take the stock ones off, line the sissy bar up, and then take those 4 bolts that it comes with and attach it. It's also worth noting that obviously these saddlebags are not stock, so most of you guys won't have to get these out of the way, but I'm gonna have to fold these up and get them out of the way and then remount the brackets once I put the sissy bar on. And because I have the Honda backrest, we're gonna need a 12mm socket to take all 4 of the bolts off. If you didn't have the bracket, I think the stock bolts are either a 5mm or 6mm hex key. And then to put the new sissy bar on, the provided hardware is a 5mm hex key. All right, it's also important that as you take off the last side, you're holding on to the Honda sissy bar if you already have it on there, because obviously once you get the last bolt off, it's gonna wanna fall. So make sure you have a hold on that so it doesn't scratch anything. Yeah, and this has those spacers that I was talking about, so you gotta pop the spacers out. That one fell out, and it's off. All right, now normally with the Burly Brand sissy bar, you would just take the provided hardware, stick it right through like that, and it would sit like that looking all nice. But because I have the hardware for the saddlebags, I'm gonna have to take the brackets for those and put it over top of that, and it'll sit just like that. And actually, I think the smartest way to do it, since the saddlebags are still on, I'm gonna line it up and just kind of hand tighten these so it's in place, and then come back through and put that stuff on. All right, little test fit, and she is looking good. Honestly, it looks like it sticks out just far enough further than the Honda one that I'll probably have to readjust the saddlebags, but that's totally fine because this is looking sick already. All right, let's finish getting this thing put on. And actually, matter of fact, let's just take the saddlebags off so you guys can see what it looks like without them, since most of you guys won't have the saddlebags. All right, and then final thing is just the backrest pad. Backrest pad, like I said, is just 2 bolts right here. You can use either a Phillips head or a flathead. Boom, piece of cake. She's looking so, so good, and honestly, it does not get much simpler than just a 4-bolt install. I am gonna put the saddlebags back on at some point, but I wanted to keep it like this so you guys can see how it looks without being covered up by the saddlebags and everything like that. But it looks so good, and with the saddlebags off, you can really tell how much higher the back end is with these stiletto shocks. I am so stoked how this bike is coming out. Now let's get this thing outside to check it out, and we'll go meet up with Nina and see how she likes it. And in perfect timing, there's Nina. Perfect timing. I just got done shooting some B-roll.
Sick.
Doesn't it?
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to try it.
Yeah, me too.
I was definitely expecting it to be taller based off the pictures, but I really like this height because I'm not a sissy bar guy necessarily. We've talked about this. Like, I kind of prefer the smaller look of the Honda one, so I like that it's not quite as tall. And especially once I eventually get like a windscreen on the front to like bring it up as high as the sissy bar, that'll look sick.
Yeah,
So off camera, I measured. I totally forgot to put it on camera because today I've just been running all over the place and forgot. But the Honda stock backrest is 12 inches tall from like the mounting point to the top. This one is 21 inches. So this one is 9 inches taller. Did I just do the math right? Yeah, 9 inches. I wasn't listening. Great. I'm still like undecided. I really, really like it, but I think some of the time I might run the Honda one and sometimes I might run this just because I feel like the Honda gives it like a sportier, sleeker look, and this gives it more of like a classic look. You know what I mean? But I'm excited to get the sissy bar bag and be able to try that out with it. All right, so far I am stoked. It looks awesome. I did mention earlier that I liked the fact that it was gloss black because the frame is gloss black. I still like it, but now I'm noticing that like all that is gloss black, but then once you get back here, this is flat black, that's flat black, and this is flat black. So maybe if they gave a flat black option, that would be cool. But that's really my only constructive feedback, I feel like. So we're gonna do our typical ride from down here to like our road that you guys have seen tons of times before down by the Bay Bridge. It's probably like a 15-minute ride or something like that, and just get the initial impressions to see how much better this is for her versus the tiny little Honda one. All right, so my predictions are, I feel like you're going to like it a whole lot more, and you're going to want me to keep it on forever. My other prediction is that it's going to be more difficult for you to get on because of the Sissy bar. I don't think that it's even in my way, but still subconsciously, I feel like I find myself like folding my leg in further, like thinking I'm going to hit it, even though I'm not. But you also, like we talked about, you like to step over onto it and then sit down. It'll probably be easier for you to put your foot on this one and then swing your leg over.
I've never done that.
It's like riding a horse. Aren't you from Kentucky? The perfect spot. All right, you can hop off.
Oh yeah, I can't swing. I gotta do a hop.
All right, first impressions, go.
First of all, the fact that we ever rode with a Sissy bar without a Sissy bar is impressive.
So it makes that much of a difference?
Yeah. Secondly, from the Honda one to this, I'm leaned so far back now that I can look wherever I want. Like, even with the stock one sometimes.
Just cruising on the golf cart. That's what we should get next.
I know.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay, so I'm leaned much further back because even on the Honda one, we would sometimes even clash helmets still. There's no way we could clash helmets with that.
At all.
There is way more support specifically around corners and curves. I feel like you could take them harder if you wanted to or faster, and I would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. I don't really have any cons. It is not what I was expecting, though.
What were you expecting?
Well, I suppose just because I've only had experience with one type of Sissy bar, I anticipated that this would be higher on my back. I also expected this to be taller.
About where it sits.
Literally, my belt, like my jeans, end here, and it actually like pulls the thing of my jeans down, so it's right on the small of my back. Yeah.
Do you like that?
Yeah. Oh, that was only, I had one con. I think that the stock Honda Sissy bar is cushier. I think it's softer. I think this is like, it doesn't have, well, it looks like it has more cushion than the other one.
It could be that because it's so soft, it pushes all the way back and doesn't feel like it has any, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's very true. Is the Honda one not a bigger cushion also?
They're almost exactly the same size.
Weird. Then yeah, maybe it's just because maybe I'm looking for something firmer because it would in turn give me more support.
Yeah, well, that's easy enough. It's such a small piece that eventually whenever I get these seats redone, we can have this redone also, make it firmer, and then have it match these seats. That would be sick.
That would be super cool. Yeah, it's great though, especially like the best point of all of that is the difference around curves. That's where I felt like the most support from the stock one to this.
So I noticed that at a certain point I was like, man, this feels so comfortable. What's the difference? And I'm like, you didn't even have your hands on me.
Nope.
You were like sitting back in a freaking recliner, just hanging out.
Literally.
I didn't feel like I had to bring my helmet forward at all to like risk us clacking helmets or whatever.
Yeah, there was way more space, like inches of space even.
Yeah. So really the only downsides are the cushion and the fact that it's harder to get on and off.
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that too. Getting off is harder than getting on. Getting off, I'm too small to too short to put my leg all the way over this. I can't do that. So
and it could be a technique thing. We'll work on that. Try and do the thing where you do this first and then swing your leg over. I just didn't want the first time trying being around a bunch of people in downtown Annapolis and having it go wrong.
Can you imagine?
Overall, it sounds like my initial idea of, I'll keep the Honda one on sometimes and then put this one on when we're riding a lot. Sounds like that's just out of the question. You want this on all the time.
I don't know if I would go that far. I think I would miss the cushion of the Honda one. But if we're going on a long trip, I want this one for sure. But if we were just going downtown, the Honda one would work just as well. But this would be perfect for any trip over an hour probably. I'd start to miss this one, if we had the other one on.
So there it is, the age-old question, does size matter? No, it doesn't. Sometimes the small one gets the job done and sometimes the big one is what you need. Yeah, that was what I started the video off as, the attention grabber. Does size matter? So yeah, sorry I had to find out that way. All right, guys. Well, if you ride with passengers a lot, I'd say this is definitely worth your money. Also, keep in mind, I'm going to be getting the Sissy Bar bag at some point in the future, which is designed to work perfectly with this. It'll sit here strapped to the Sissy Bar. That way, once Nina learns how to ride and we go on trips where she's on her bike and I'm on this, I can use the Sissy Bar bag along with my saddlebags to load this thing up with a bunch of stuff. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to go ahead and grab yourself one of the Burly Brand Sissy Bars. Make sure to go ahead and leave a like on the video if it helped you out at all. Leave a comment down below, and if you want to help the channel in the best way you can, check out the Patreon, Life of Burch. I always do that. I always try to say lifeofburch.com/Patreon. Patreon.com/lifeofburch. You can pledge your monthly amount and you get early access to videos like this, exclusive access to merch, and more. All right, I nailed that one,
Yeah,
I think. Anyway, we're out here. Love you guys. Peace.
So fun.